One alternative to fragmentation is, of course, union under a banner, a collective ideal, cause, or purpose. The problem with uniting under a banner, as the postmodernists who push identity politics rightly point out, is that to value something means simultaneously to devalue other things. Thus, to value is an exclusionary process. But the alternative is valuelessness, which is equivalent to nihilism. And nihilism does not produce freedom from exclusion. It just makes everyone excluded. And that's an intolerable state, directionless, uncertain, chaotic, and angst-ridden. When such uncertainty reaches a critical level, the counter-response appears. First, the unconscious, and then the collectively expressed demand for a leader possessed by the spirit of totalitarian certainty, who promises above all to restore order. Thus, a society without a unifying principle oscillates unmoored between nihilism and totalitarianism. Human beings have been wrestling with this problem since the beginning of civilization, when our capacity to form large groups, for all its advantages, also started to pose a new threat. That of the hyper-domination of the state, collective or purpose. But without the state, there's just fragmentation into smaller groups. The group itself cannot be done away with, because for better or worse, human beings are social animals, not loners like sharks or tigers. We're team players, but being on one team means not being on others. This means that any given team sidelines, marginalizes, and alienates those who cannot play their game, as well as conflicting with other teams. In the West, starting in the Middle East thousands of years ago, a new idea began to emerge. Evolve is not too strong a word. In the collective imagination, you might, following Dawkins, consider this a meme, although this is far too weak a word. This idea, whose development can be traced back through Egypt to Mesopotamia before disappearing into unwritten history, is that of the divine individual. This eons-old work of the imagination is a dramatic presentation of an emergent idea, which is the solution to how to organize social being without falling prey to nihilistic divisiveness or deceitful totalitarian certainty. The group must unite, but under the banner of the individual. The individual is the source of the new wisdom that updates the antiquated, nihilistic, or totalitarian detritus and glory of the past. For better or for worse, that idea reaches its apogee in Christianity. The divine individual is masculine because the feminine is not individual. The divine feminine is, instead, mother and child. However, it is a hallmark of Christian supposition that the redemption of both men and women comes through the masculine. And that's because the masculine is the individual. The central realization, expressed dramatically and symbolically, is that the subordination of the group to the ideal of the divine individual is the answer to the paradox of nihilism and totalitarianism. The divine individual is the man that every man admires, and the man whom all women want their men to be. The divine individual is the ideal from which deviations are punished by the group with contempt and disgrace, and fidelity to which is rewarded by the group with attention and honor. The divine individual is not the winner of any individual game, but the player who plays fairly and is therefore continually invited to play. The divine individual is the builder, maintainer, and expander of the state, he who boldly goes where no man has gone before, and someone who eternally watches over the widows and the children. His power of direct and honest communication is that which identifies, discusses, and then resolves the continually emergent problems of human existence. Identification with these images is belief in them. Belief is not the statement of agreement with a set of facts, but the willingness to act something out, to become something, to stake your life on something. For men and women alike, this means voluntary adoption of responsibility. Responsibility for oneself, family, and state. It's in that responsibility and not in rights that meaning itself resides. The meaning that makes life bearable.